喜べ少年.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back once again to Let's Talk Fate Grand Order. You thought we were twice a month, but it turns out we're not. I am one of your hosts. I am the Praetor, and I'm currently looking for my Emperor, also known as Omega. And with me, as usual, is my wonderful co-host, the Savior of France, Lucky.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad to see you all here again.
Yes, our last episode just broke 400 views.
Yeah, so thank you, every single one of you, for listening to us talk about a game.
Yeah. We love to talk, and hopefully you people love to listen.
Yeah, unfortunately, as usual, we would not be joined by Ron. He is out currently learning every skill out there so he become a one-man apocalypse survivor.
This is true.
Last I heard, he was doing welding, pottery, and horticulture.
He's a regular Renaissance man. But we should be careful saying that around here, otherwise Da Vinci will get us.
That arm kind of scares me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you should see our noble phantasm. Anyway, so here we are. We're going to talk about Fate Grand Order. As usual, we have a whole plethora of disclaimers. If you do not like spoilers, you should not be here. This is not a professional, high-quality review type podcast. This is very much an open discussion sort of thing, so we will be talking about all kinds of story spoilers, character spoilers. If you can spoil it, we will probably talk about it.
Good times.
This includes both the actual Fate Grand Order game and also any other Fate media that exists ever.
On top of that, we're going to be talking about a lot about waifus, so just prepare for that. As I like to say, all waifus are good waifus, and I'm not here to start a fight about them.
I'm not here to start a fight. But that's okay, I'm pre-salted today. I get to be the salty one, while you are the happy, fluffy one. Because normally we start with Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our tip segment, but today I want to start with Records from the Throne, our new semi-regular achievement topic, because something happened to you, friendo.
Yeah, okay, so, everyone playing FGO right now knows that the 1 million download campaign's going on, and that, depending on the day, several things have a rate up. Now, if you've been listening to the previous podcasts, you know that I've had a thing for Jeanne d'Arc since I played France, and I've been trying to get her.
And somebody, not to name names, has been rubbing it in his face the entire time.
Yeah. And so... as I said, like with the last podcast, I finally started spending money, and I decided to take it a step further this time, and I put in $40 worth for paid quartz. That gets you a little over 60, so that's, guaranteed 2 pools. Now, and
which
with an additional,
is,
of doing
excuse me,
interludes.
For 60 quartz is about a 50-50 shot of a 4-star servant.
Yeah.
It's like just over 45%.
Yeah, so. And, so with the, with Bond Up, interludes, free quests, daily logins, all that stuff, I was also able to save up another 30 for, so I had enough for 3 pools. Now, what I did is, because I wanted both Jeanne and Altera, because I like them both. One is very good civilization, and one is, goddamn best wife. It's like, she's just a ray of sunshine. So, my first pool, didn't get anything to mention, but I did get a Saber Altar, which I thought was very cool. I also got the Rune Stones, and with 1 hit, which were both rated up in the gacha. That was their first time appearing. Second time, I got Dick.
If you want to know what my reaction to the 130 poll I did with I'd bundle up for this, I also got Dick. I got the classic Spook. I got Kirei Abs and a Saber Gilderais. The only thing I didn't get was Black Keys.
Now, my third pool was the stuff of Legends. because I remember this distinctly. I had just finished Jin Kei's interlude because that's the last gym I needed. I'm like, I'm at work. I work a graveyard shift. I'm sitting in the work truck. I'm like, all right, let me do this pool real quick. First card comes up. It's a Jin Kei. And I'm like, that's funny. The second card comes up. It's a gold card with a design I never saw before. And that is the moment when my heart just stopped. Like, I could not breathe. It turns over. It's a motherfucking John.
Yeah, that's what my response was like when I rolled it. I'm like, what is this card by? Oh my god.
And it doesn't end there. Because I also, in that same pool, got a second Saber Altar and the Black Grail CE, which is the 5-star CE, which is right up. So in the process of these 3 pools, technically even just two pools, because one was just garbage, I got the 5-star Jean, 2 4-star Saber Altars, the 5-star CE Black Grail, 2 with 1 hit CEs, which are both 4-star, and then 3 Runestones, which are the 3-star CEs that are tied to the event. So, like, a lot of people say rate up is a lie, but, like, I'm telling you right now, it's all like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, not today. Not that day.
Nope. And honestly, I said I was salty. I do have a singular response for this situation. By the way, listeners, that is written in in our show notes as angry dragon noises. But honestly, I'm not really that upset, other than just I have so far drawn dick in the rate up in the special gacha, because other than the fact that Lucky has 2 SSRs on me, he hasn't necessarily rolled any better overall. Also, nobody tell him how much of a pain in the ass Jean is gonna be to ascend.
He says that, but like we got the half off AP, and I have like 200 AP stored. So guess what I'm gonna be doing for a while.
You think that'll be enough? But here's the thing: it's not just enough for me to be a little bit salty. It's time to solve this problem, and we're gonna address it with science. Because you listeners should be familiar if you have listened to previous episodes. On 1, Lucky did in fact do a 10 pull with paid quartz. His first ever paid quartz pull, which was live on air and netted him the 5-star whatever, it's waiver. Yeah, it's easier to say. So, I have made the jump. I have bought a little bit of quartz. Luckily, because of the 75-day login, I was able to only buy the smaller amount. I only needed I think it's 16 for like $12 to be over 30.
Yeah.
Altera has recently rolled over, so it's her rate up day again. And I have assembled a quality summoning circle, which I will insert into the video right about now. And leave that up for a slight amount. That is not a skelegram, that is me writing down the time code so I can put that image in. So, my circle is here. My catalysts are prepared, I have the quartz. At the very least, if it goes poorly, you'll have good content. I have stopped the mission clock, and I am now rolling. And I have 4 paid quartz left. Connecting.
While he rolls, it's like, there's something that occurred to me when I rolled that John. If there's only 1 ruler class, how does rate up work with a ruler?
I think it just means that Jean has a chance of appearing as the SSR, like, at all.
Yeah, maybe.
But I can't be sure. I don't know if anybody actually understands the... Oh, hey, another copy of Limited Zero Over.
Nice.
That was only on my second card.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hey, with 1 hit. This is already doing me better than the first one.
Yep, that's 2 4-stars. No, that's 1 5-star and 1 4-star.
And I got an Alexander earlier. Oh, it's another servant. It's a silver card. It's an archer, so it's Robin Hood. He's gonna get burned. That's what happens when you appear before me, Robin. I have you at MP5. I don't need you anymore. Go away. Ooh, another copy of Angel Song. That's a 4-star CE. It's not new, but that's, again, math are doing me better. Another copy of Runestone. I'm getting a lot of CEs this pull.
Honestly, that's been my luck for most of these pulls.
Yeah, I noticed there's another CE in the roll. That's a copy of Divine Banquet. That's another 4-star. That's a lot of 4-star CEs. That's actually pretty good odds. Wow, it's a second copy of Runestone in the same pull. Interesting. I don't even know how many cards that is. Are we getting close to the end?
I think you got a couple more.
Yeah, it's another Servant.
Mm.
The card is silver. It's a Berserker. Oh, Lubu. Okay. Not a copy of Kiwi. I haven't seen anybody on Rate Up. Oh, my screen went blank at the last Servant card. Hold on. It's a Silver Caster. It's Padilla. I think I have her at MP5 also. By the way, audience, in case I'm quiet, it's because I'm half looking. Yep, alright, that's the roll. So let's see. I got another copy of Limited Zero Over. I got 2 4-star CE copies. I got 2 copies of Runestone in the same roll. And I got a copy of With One Hit, which actually I really wanted, because that's Sure Hit, which is a great effect. So, my Ritual Circle didn't help. No sabers of any variety appeared before me. But it wasn't too bad. I've definitely had worse rolls.
As I said, with Catalyst and whatnot, as I said, I'm going to try and take it to the next level. I was talking to Mega earlier about this, but I'm actually going to see if I can get one of those chalk protractor circles so I can actually draw nice big circles. Then I might put a whole bunch of gobbledygook in them.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I don't have Midian at MP5. Now I do.
Nice.
That's a lot of rule breaker. Alright, well, so with that out of the way, we have, however, scientifically proven that rolling on air does not equal 5 stars. Well, it doesn't equal 5-star servants. It does equal 5-star CE, so I think that's 1 for 1 on 5 stars. Or 2 for 2, I should say.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something. We will have to test that out. By the way, we joked about it earlier, but there is actually a reason why we're recording more frequently. It's because we built up 5 pages of show notes, so we were like, we probably should work on this as soon as possible if we're free, rather than let it go and get old, because otherwise it's going to take us forever to chew through this.
Yeah, it is. And because it's something that's of a more recent topic.
Well, first of all, we did skip it, so we should really check in with MASH and see what our tips are in Wake the Fuck Up Senpai.
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right. This is Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for pro tips.
Alright, you want to start us off?
Alright. So, different servants have different scales for bond up, so don't be surprised if their characters, different ones, level their bonds faster than others, because they all use different scales.
Yeah. This happened to me specifically. So, the person who's been the mainstay in my team for the beginning is Tomino Cat. For a while, she was, always number 2. Eventually, once I phased MASH to the back, I put her in the leader. So, she has been there day 1. Carmilla is someone who kind of grew on me. It's also a servant that I picked up maybe a few weeks after starting the game. And it wasn't until about maybe a few weeks ago that I kept her as a standard in my team. Carmilla hit Bond 6 faster than Tomino Cat, even though they're both 4 stars, even though Tomino has been in there for at least a month longer. So that's definitely something to watch out for if you're trying to get Bond up. Because right now, Bond, once you hit 5-star, Bond up becomes a very big pain. I know in Japan,
lot of XP.
Yeah, I know in Japan they actually have special event dungeons for Bond points, and once you get later content, it's easier. But right now, if you're trying to get the extra ports or whatever out of them, you should definitely keep an eye on it. Especially because it seems like different servants have may have different rewards. Like, I wasn't paying attention. I I wasn't paying attention to what I actually got from Carmilla because I was kind of shocked at the moment. I was like, why Carmilla? But I do know that from Tomino, I got 2 Saint Quartz for her getting Bond 6. And I think when you said when your rider hit Bond 6, you only got 1 Saint Quartz.
Yeah, Medusa only gave me 1.
Yeah, so maybe it has to do on the level of the car rarity or whatnot, but it's definitely something to think.
Yeah, and I do know that some of them will even like they give apples instead, like golden apples.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Which, in a sense, is it's got a spending equivalent to a quartz in that you can use it to fully restore AP. So it's not a bad thing.
Oh no, they're good to stockpile for events.
Oh yeah, they are.
All right, now for our second
pro tip.
Pro tip. Now this is one that's definitely geared more towards players that have been on for a while, who have maybe around 80 to 90 AP. But you might not think of it, but do your daily quests, maybe at least the 4 Ember dailies, because if you do all 4, that'll at least get you 10 mana prisms a day. You do that every day a month, that's 30 days, that's 300. That's more enough for your tickets, for your summon tickets, and if you want to start buying foes so you can start upping your servant's attack and HP.
Alternatively, next year, we're going to start seeing seasonal craft essences, which will appear in the Mana Prism shop for limited times, several months at a time, and cost 1,000 prisms a pop, and they're very useful for grinding. We talked about Bond XP before. There's one of them that's plus 5% Bond XP, plus 5% Quartz points drops, Master XP, etc., etc. Those can be very useful and will be coming soon to the game. So we joked about it earlier, but let us go to the old scalegram machine and see what the news is. So it's a little older, though not as older as I originally planned it when I wrote this note, but a while back, a few days ago, there was an interview with GamePress, which is a website that focuses on a lot of big mobile game titles in the US. They did this with Aniplex, who handles the localization and translation of Fate Grand Order in the US. I think it was it's a very positive interview for sure, and it's a very good interview to read, especially after we had that controversy about the panel at Crunchyroll Expo. Talking about localization and stuff.
Mm-hmm. As I said, it does basically go into how they're concerned about localization and basically how to make Japanese culture something that appeals to a more Western audience. So things aren't lost in translation, and just the difficulties in translation in general. For example, specifically the one of the ones they're talking about is with Tomino Cat and how her Noble Phantasm name is so long. For those who don't know it, the full Phantasm name is Feasting and Napping in the Dazzling Sunlight.
That's a lot of syllables.
Yeah, it's a lot of syllables. And it basically alludes to some old proverb or something, which necessarily we wouldn't know about. I still don't fully understand it. I just kind of accept it because I love Tomino.
Mm-hmm.
Other things they spoke about is basically how they're going to be trying to make it to more conventions, speak with more people.
They also talked about they want to do... In Japan, by the way, in case you don't know this, if you only follow the North American release, there are a lot of regular live streams by staff and actors, especially on the game, who show up. They talk about the game, they talk about new events, they talk about stuff going on. They usually do it regularly and also to tie into events, so that's kind of a big deal. And in fact, they often announce quartz rewards for new events at these streams. So, Aniplex has said... That's where I was going with that. Aniplex has said they would love to start streaming more, on Twitch or something maybe, to actually show more community interaction and to give us that similar kind of experience as we got in Japan, because that's something they're really focused on, is they really want to give the same sort of experience as Japan had to us here in North America.
Yep. Let's see here. Where was it called? I'm trying to recall the name of the... Oh, that's what it is. It was called, the broadcast is called Chaldea Broadcast Station. You can actually find it on YouTube. And they have plenty of videos. And Aniplex has tried something like that. Like, they released on Reddit, which they actually actively look at. So if you want to get the word out to them about something, post on Reddit, on the Grand Order Reddit, they'll see it. But back when...
very healthy Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. But if you recall, back when they did the Gilgamesh raid they actually released a video of a lot of the staff members rolling, trying to get Gilgamesh. So they're trying to maintain a connection to the community, which I think is good. Also in the interview, they also talk about how they want to try and bring other source material over from Fate, like learning about FGO, the comic, and other things, which are kind of needed, because as we mentioned last time, Gura Gura Hononji is something that I'm excited for, because I want me some goddamn Nobu. And Chris is excited about it because he wants some goddamn Okita.
I also want Nobu, but that's free. I'm also thinking about my poor quartz. Everything is being saved now for November in the hopes that Gura Gura will actually happen and I can roll for a freaking gold saber again. Excuse me, had to cough.
But as I said, so a lot of this interview with them expressing concerns about cultural differences, but they remain hopeful that they'll be able to get it all through. It's a good read. It gives great insight into the company's mindset and where they're trying to go for the future.
Yeah, so it's all around something solid to handle. Speaking of stuff coming over from Japan, let's touch on this really quick before we get into, I think, what will be our more meaty Americanized topics. So in Japan, they have just debuted Nero Fest 2017, the Autumn Sports Festival, aka Nero Fest 2019 for North America.
This is their third Nero event, I believe, because they had their...
They've turned it into a whole regular thing.
Yep, they had the regular Nero Fest, which we've had. Then they had Nero Fest Redux, which was their last year of it. Now this one.
So the 2017 Nero Fest in Japan will feature both tournament quests and exhibition quests. Tournament quests drop the medals you're familiar with, bronze, silver, gold. Also a special item called Crimson Petals. They will be in timed blocks, prelim, main, and finale, same as usual. They've even, I believe, announced all the different server combinations you'll run into, so you can plan ahead a little. And then there are these exhibition quests. These are a feature from the 2016 Nero Fest, the Redux we talked about. They are super hard quests with special restrictions, like you cannot revive, you can't spend command seals or quartz to do it over again. And they have very hard bosses who break the normal rules. But completing them results in tickets and large volumes of mats as loot. So, Crimson Petals are important. They're another event item. They can be exchanged in a raffle box system, which is actually relevant because there will be a similar system coming to North America in the Christmas event this year. So, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but basically the idea seems to be that you have a grand prize and also a more conventional assortment of items, including a special, one of the special 5-star event CEs. And then also, Nero is the third character to get a new costume, Olympia Bloomers. It's what you'd expect. It's a gym uniform, which anybody who's ever watched an anime should be familiar with. Also, bonus points, Nero's alt sprite is the first one that also features an alt art card, as replaces her final ascension. I think the way the raffle system works is you roll it each time, and then once you get the grand prize for that segment, it clears, and you roll it again for the next segment. And so you earn it in order. Like, you earn all 5 copies of the 5-star CE, 2 Gods, 3 Legs. And then you roll it until you earn Olympia Bloomers, and then you roll it until you get whatever comes next. And then the 11th time you've cleared it, you can roll it unlimited, but there's no more grand prizes or anything.
This event is literally
Yeah, there's also a regular event shop for medals. There's a usual block of event CEs with bonus drops, including Cheer for Master, featuring Brynhildr in a cheerleader outfit. Speaking of which, this will come as a shock to everybody. There's a gacha for this, a raid-up, which features Brynhildr, who is an extremely limited SSR Lancer, and she has only been in, 2 campaigns ever.
I will say the art on the CE is effing dangerous. There's some side boob and some side butt there that is delicious.
Yeah, Lucky is doomed.
I am doomed.
He's starting to like Bryn, which is bad, because she only shows up twice. Rip your wallet. Also on Raid Up is regular Nero and Nero Bride, who is also a limited SSR. This fills me with hope that there will be enough Raid Ups with Nero that I will actually roll her. That pause there was as I stared longingly at my Nero card from Fate Extella.
This event is literally like the Olympics combined with a Japanese athletics festival. Now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get into what I think is our meatier topic, as we're about 20 minutes in. Let's do a little something we like to call the Okeanos Pregame. That's right. They have said that Okeanos is coming soon, and the 1 million download / Kentucky event will end somewhere about halfway through the month, so we should probably expect an imminent news, if not an imminent drop, on Okeanos once that's done.
Yep. So, us here, we're going to give you a little bit of information that we've compiled together so you can know what to expect and maybe work on your plan of action.
Mm-hmm. So, doing some extremely ghetto math, it looks like there's about 26 plus courts between story and free quests. So, if we counted right, there's 13 main quests, and then each of those will be a node with should be a node with a free quest, so there's about 26 there. So, between logins and everything, you should hit your at least 110 pull out of that.
Mm-hmm. Also, very important, it looks like throughout the Vest, we'll be able to farm the Meteoric Horseshoes, Phoenix Plumes, the Drastical Seeds, and the Octuplic Twin Crystals from the story and free maps now, in addition to other maps already in the game.
So, RNG be praised, Medusa's going to get her final ascension.
Now, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what mats are required, but I know we still have not got our Infinity Gears, which I definitely still need. I'm not sure when they're going to show up.
Yeah, that's going to come. I think that's London. And those are going to come back to bite me in the ass when I want to get Emiya to his final ascension. Because I'm out of those.
And I said, I can't get Marie to her final ascension because she needs Infinity Gears and Meteoric Horseshoes. So that's So for clearing this the story chapter, you get your usual free 3-star. It's the rare David. He's an archer. So if you haven't rolled one of our available silver archers, aka Robin Hood, who has been on raid up multiple times, and as I have noted, he is kind of like the dog that won't go away. He keeps showing up. You'll get one of those. That'll be fun. Yeah. Now, a little bit about game. If you've watched the Okeanos CV, the preview, you definitely saw a lady pirate at the about the end of the clip. That is Francis Drake, who's going to be your main ally in the game.
We mentioned her last time, talking about how she's the first 5-star writer that will be in the game. There will be an associate gacha and raid up for Okeanos. So, if you're into that thing, there's your chance to roll with some quartz.
As I said, and you can also expect appearances from Uriel, Orion, Astros, and Atlante. So if you want to see how they play, and you want to, desire them as your wife,
though,
definitely have a chance there.
Asterios is 1 or 2 stars. Everybody should have several copies of that big boy.
Oh yeah.
I say big because he's freaking huge.
He's literally the Minotaur, right?
Yeah, no, that's the Minotaur.
If I remember correctly.
It's the super cow parts are only a mask, but he does have horns.
Oh, I thought it was actually a representation of the Minotaur.
Oh, he is
from the labyrinth.
That's the only actual bull-like part of him is the horns. He's got like a human face under his weird helmet thing. Also, no spoilers, but the final boss round is a couple of level 55s with about 300k HP between them. So those of us with level 80 to 90 servants run wild. Alternatively, if you've got some maybe mid-level servants who aren't so new, like they're not brand new and you need to level them, you can let them stretch their legs a little if you're not trying to rush.
Yeah, so the full run of the enemy levels on Okeanos is about level 24 to 55.
So, yes, if you're asking, Japan was also grossly over-leveled for this, between Nero Fest and Moon Goddess. And also, Medea Lily is our main story gacha unlock as the 4-star.
Yep, and I am super hyped for that. I need cute caster child. Yeah. I wanted to call me Papa.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about more 4-stars. I'm a man who still has no gold assassins and no gold sabers, other than the free one. So, whatever, bro. I'm not even gonna roll.
Like I said, I am hyped for Okeanos. As I said, I'm excited to continue the story. That'll be good to
finally get our next story chapter. And also, if you were among the many who were somewhat disappointed with the way Septim was handled, Okeanos is supposed to be where it really starts to turn around and start going back up in terms of story.
Yeah. As I said, like without the story elements, I honestly feel like FGO is kind of just like another one of those just regular old gotcha mobile games where it's just collect things, level them up, fight things, go on. It's like the story is really what sets FGO apart. So now that we're getting back to that, it's like we're probably actually
constant thirst for new waifu costumes.
Oh yeah, that is super exciting. And then we'll start the countdown to London.
Yes, the very long countdown to London. Hopefully, though, I've got a birthday right around where London is. Maybe I'll get some cash, and hopefully they run the rate up on Mordred, so Mordred can wish me a happy birthday, TT.
That's it. But in the meantime, we will have the Halloween event and whatever they can fill in November.
Yeah, so let's hope it's Gura Gura Honoji, because I want to hear a little special someone. That, by the way, is brackets angry Nobu noises. Not to be confused with angry dragon noises. But that's our scalograms for today. It's time to move on to Chaldea Free Talk.
Chaldea Free Talk Radio, bringing all you masters the hottest topics from across time and space.
That's right, Chaldea Free Talk Radio. There's literally nothing else for you to listen to on Earth, and Da Vinci won't stop us as long as we keep paying our courts. That actually brings up a good point. We never see them, but Dr. Rowan talks about how there's an entire support staff for Chaldea that you never see. Well, what are those poor bastards like?
They're referenced, and you kind of see them in the anime. Because not everyone was killed in the
No, it was only explosion. The 39 master candidates who were completely fuckled.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they're dead. Some of them are just in medically induced comas, but it's bad.
Yeah. So there's a full support staff, and funny enough, it's like you see this a lot in fan art and whatnot, but apparently people have the ideas that all the servants just kind of have their own room and Chaldea, and they just hang out.
Well, we have mentioned before that
dig.
Canonically, you have theoretically summoned every servant who is summonable in the story. So, yeah, that's the thing.
And it's great too because I just recently did Kiyohime's interlude, and one of the lines she's talked about is how she's in an online group with Tamamo, and how Tamamo was telling her "What the fuck, girl? What you doing?" So I'm just you have this image of it's probably not an internet, it's probably an intranet in Chaldea.
It's entirely possible that Kiyohime is talking to Tamamo in the Moon Cell. Because if you listen to some of her dialogue, Tamamo in Extra Series talks about her pen pal Kiyohime.
Well, it's still great to think that like these servants are like, as I said, because you know, all servants when they are summoned, they are given relevant knowledge to the area. That's why Mordred can drive a car, Saber can drive. I mean,
No,
Artoria
Mordred drives a car.
yeah, and then Artoria can ride a motorcycle, and Jack the Ripper can use a cell phone. But I just find it great that
Jack the Ripper does.
But then you just think about
It's a great scheme,
Kiyohime
yeah.
like tapping away at a computer, meshing in Tamamo, and I think it's utterly adorable. But
I
at
hope
the
they're
same
using
time,
laptops. I can't imagine giving all the servants cell phones. Jeez.
well, I said in Shaldi, it's probably not. I don't know if you can use a cell phone across time and space, so
Sure.
they probably would have
Hard lines.
computers or hard lines.
By
But
the way, we joked about this earlier, but I think it's important when we're talking about FGO culture to mention the favorite phrase, R.I.P. Wallet-kun. The words of any man or woman who suddenly has a need to buy quartz. Remember that, everyone. When you see a gacha announced, and you see a waifu, or a husbando, or a son or daughteru that you must roll, and you look at your wallet, and you get that that sinking feeling that you're going to spend some cash. R.I.P. Wallet-kun.
honestly, I like a turn of phrase I've been using recently is hearing that whale song. It's like I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see if I hear the whale song, because I spent money on that. I did what I said I would do. I would allow myself a at least one quartz roll with cash per month. So, let's move to a free topic that was actually suggested by one of our listeners. That's right, one of you. You said something to us, and we listened to you. That's amazing, isn't it? This person suggested that we should talk about FGO characters who have been data mined, but are not yet in the game. Though I believe, Lucky, you have a question first.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not quite as tech savvy, so I want to know, what does data mined mean?
Alright, so to the best of my understanding, I'm not sure about the exact details because I'm not super, computer programming either. But as far as I know, people talk about data mining when they talk about how, say, somebody has downloaded the app data, they've got the APK file or whatever, and they have completely decrypted it and unpacked it and gone through all the code. You see this talked about a lot with video games. Like, if something new comes out, somebody will say, oh, they've mined the data, there's, so many blah blah blahs of DLC content on disk, or we know that there's so many maps, and etc., etc. So, people have taken the FGO app data, have downloaded it, unpacked it, and have seen references somewhere in the code to a number of servants by name, their actual, combat data, or something. And there are several of them which are not released. So I'm going to go down this list. So from Fate Stay Night, we have Parvati as Sakura, in the same way that Ishtar is Rin, so is a pseudo-servant. We have, from Fate Zero, we have good old Diarmid as a Saber, not a Lancer. From Fate Apocrypha, Sieg has been data mined. We talked about this before. Chiron, Avis Braun, Achilles, Semiramis. It's always gotta pause for that I in there. And a Saber version of Astolfo are data mined. By the way, I would like to point out that if you split that into two parts, and one of those was a welfare servant, that's a event gacha banner right there, or a couple of them, between the red and black factions. Just think on that.
Yeah.
So from Extra, etc., we have Li Shuwen as an assassin. He is in the game as a Lancer, but apparently this references his assassin form, which I believe is older and more experienced.
Yeah, it's the version you see in Nextella.
Yeah, that's the version you see in Extella, where he mentions he has a spear, but he's not using it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Mother Harlot, which is the writer Nero, who might be an alter or something. This is something that's talked about a lot in her backstory. And there's also the three remaining Sakura 5, who were originally supposed to appear in CCC, but were cut for time. They have appeared since in the CCC manga adaptation. That's Kazura Drop, Violet, and King Protea. I really hope they appear soon, because their character designs are adorable.
They are super cute.
Yeah, no. Basically, look up BB, Melt Lilith, and Passion Lip. It's in the same vein as those guys. So from Fate Prototype, that's the original version of the Fate Stay Night script before Type Moon decided that waifus were worth more money. And there's Prototype Gil, who is actually much more archery than the version we got in the actual Fate Stay Night. And 2 versions of Perseus, a rider and a lancer. Gee, I wonder where he gets that from. In case you can't guess, Perseus was replaced by Medusa in the final product. And now, there's a big long list of OG servants whose names are referenced. So, we got Canis, we got Sigurd, who is effectively the prototype version of Siegfried. He's the original Norse legend, not the later German retelling. They are noted as separate characters. Valkyrie, which is apparently separate from Brynn. Tomoe Gozen, who is not to be confused with Suzuka Gozen, who is the CCC character. And actually, I believe Tomoe Gozen was mentioned in one of the story chapters, but they had died off-screen in the Singularity, as it were. There's Queen Liang Yu, Nezha, Sita, which I'm actually kind of excited about. Lucky, have you seen the card art for Rama?
No, I haven't.
He's a saber. You can look him up on the Fate Grand Order wiki really quick. Sita is his wife, who also looks kind of like his opposite-sex clone. And basically, she looks exactly like him, same, complexion and hair color, but she has twin tails.
Oh, and I found art.
Yeah.
So, she's a little bit shorter, and apparently she has a gift of bananas. What?
She's a little bit shorter. She will also be summonable as an archer, probably. And she looks kind of cute, so I'm interested in that. Somebody called Hyozoin Ryu, which is the name of a fighting style, not a person, so I'm not sure how that'll work out. Mochizuki Chiyome, which is a urban legend of a female ninja, so that'll be cool. A lady assassin. Calamity Jane is in here. Bradamante, one of the characters from the Orlando Furioso kind of various set of operas about Roland, where Astolfo is also introduced. Ivan the Terrible, and Red Hair, which is the name of Lubu's mount, so that I'm not sure about, if that'll be a separate character or what. Also on the official lists, semi-official, the ones that everybody references when they talk about the Datamine list, several boss or enemy-only characters are listed on this, so it's entirely possible that some of these characters are not actually playable. They are enemy-only data. However, it's also entirely possible that boss characters might appear as summons for more money much, much later for us here in North America, because it hasn't even happened for Japan yet. And if that happens, Lucky's wallet will die.
Yeah. Gonna be hearing that whale song.
So, without spoiling anything for him, I showed Lucky the character designs for Tiamat without telling him anything other than that she is a boss character who will show up later.
Yeah. It's like, I have a thing for dragon ladies. I won't lie. I won't hide. It's it's something I like to call the Dragon Mom effect.
Hey, careful. You only call it that because I wrote it down.
No, I was the one who's like Dragon Mom, and then you wrote it down. Like, okay. I will go pull it up on the Discord.
I made it I made it the effects. I'm the scientist who coined the term. You're the experiment.
Oh,
but
God.
Yeah, so basically, here's the Dragon Mom effect. The more dragon and the more mom, the more we desire. Have you seen Artoria Alter Lancer?
It's like I love her, but you know what? I also like her. I really like her design in the Senjuku arc, where she has the long coat as well.
Yeah, the regular Saber Alter.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you've already got a Saber Alter. If you're lucky, they'll release that as a special costume later, so that your Saber Alter can always look like that.
It's a great look. I love it.
By the way, I would like to point out that the Dragon Mom effect bodes very poorly for us via the inevitable Morgan Le Fay release and Wallet-kun. So, do we have any comments on any of the servants who've been data mined other than some of the observations I already threw out there?
Not particularly. As I said, I'm hoping that the Fate Apocrypha servants get put out. As I said, it's a right time for them with the anime coming out.
Yeah, I think they'll probably wait till the anime's closer to being done so they don't accidentally spoil anything, even though the light novel's been out. Obviously, animes are more popular.
Yep,
I I will say I'm kind of interested what they do in Canis, because the Greek mythological figure of Canis is kind of interesting. Short version is Canis used to be Canis, who was a girl, but who was kidnapped and raped by Poseidon, because he's a great guy. But apparently he had a good time at least, so he gave her one boon, and she said to become a man so that couldn't happen to her again. And Poseidon did this, but also made her skin impenetrable to weapons. And as a man, Canis was so incredibly baller that in a war with the centaurs, they had to bury him under a pile of huge pine trunks to kill him, because he could not be stabbed or shot with arrows. So, given how that background sounds, I'm really interested to see what exactly they do with that as a heroic spirit. But that's just me, because I love mythology. And that pause, ladies and gentlemen, was because I needed to scratch my nose, and Lucky didn't say anything. That's okay.
Hey, I was just letting you go on with your Greek mythology.
That's fine. That's my end point. So, that's that topic. I hope you enjoyed it. I think we blew by it a little fast, but there's not necessarily a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, some of these are obviously wildly anticipated, who will be popular no matter what. I've thrown in a couple, maybe less obvious promotions that I'm excited about. And everything else is, we'll see.
Alright, so what we're looking at time here?
We're at about 40 minutes on the mission clock. So we got a little room.
Well, let's do the spotlights.
Alright. This is a new segment. We've thought about this before, and we may have talked about it. But basically, definitely not because we want to fill time or anything, but because we are constantly talking about, oh, look at this CE, look at that CE. And also, we talk about servants a lot. We want to do a little something, a little spotlight, and we're going to talk about a specific craft essence, or possibly a specific set of craft essences if they have similar effects, like today. And we're going to talk about a singular servant. So let's start off our craft essence spotlight with what I think is a good, solid starting point. Let's talk about some of the original SSR craft essences, something that hopefully at this point everybody has rolled at least one of, and I literally rolled an extra copy of one tonight. Let's talk about Imaginary Around, Limited Zero Over, and Formal Craft. Not only are they great CEs that, to this point, in even Japan, 2 years ahead of us, they have not gone out of style. Their effects are still good. Their images and their story elements, the fluff behind them, is also great.
Yeah, honestly, if you think about it, you can consider this the Trinity, or even the Triforce of Fate, if you would.
So, the art of the cards, if you're not familiar with them, shows Sakura, Shiro, and Rin as they have reached their pinnacle of strength as their mages. And actually, people have timed this out. The original Fate Stay Night was set somewhere in the mid-2000s when it actually came out, maybe a little ahead. So fast forward to 2015, when Fate Grand Order originally came out, this would possibly be those three as they might appear in their actual adult years out of school, in their relevant time period.
What I find interesting about Limited Zero Over is that it basically shows Shiro with the shroud of
St. Martin.
Of St. Martin on his arm, which, is something that follows from the Heaven Feels route, so...
Well, that could easily make sense, though. Because Heaven's Feel is the only situation where certain plot elements with certain characters get resolved.
Yeah.
Everybody watch Heaven's Feel movies when they come out. They look really pretty.
Heaven's funding.
So, basically, the effects of these cards is that each of them increases the effectiveness of Arts for Formal Craft, Buster for Limited Zero Over, and Quick for Imaginary Around by 25% to 30% at max limit break.
Yeah, but that also means getting 5 cards of it, which, as I said, craft essences have higher rates, but they're still, pretty rare. So, be happy at that 25%.
And, of course, there's
rejoice
also,
if you get that 30.
There's a certain element of randomness, too, in the draw there. I have no copies of Formal Craft, but I rolled my 3rd copy of Limited Zero Over tonight.
Yep,
so it all depends on where your luck is.
As in, I have 3 copies of Limited Zero Over, and I believe 1 copy of Formal Craft, I'm still needing an imaginary round.
Hey, I've got an imaginary round. Funny how that works.
Hey.
I usually stick it on Medusa. By the way, it's important to point out, effectiveness is not just the damage on the card, it's the card effect also. So in the case of arts and quick cards, that means more crit gen, more NP gain.
With Buster, I just believe it means it just increases the attack a bit more.
Yeah, it just increases the damage spike appropriate to Buster.
Yeah. But
Not that
speaking
that's wrong,
of it,
I have stuck limited 0 over on many a Berserker with a Buster NP and just cleaned house.
yeah, as I said, my limit 0 over is on Tamamo, and as I said, she keeps up fairly well.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of attack, though, all 3 cards, the stat they increase is attack. It starts off at 500 and ends at 2+2000 at max level. So level 80 gives you a whopping 2k attack, which is nothing to sneeze about.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's a solid increase. If you guys have looked at your attack stats and gone, well, that's kind of low, think about tacking on a solid craft distance there.
Just keep in mind that this is a 5-star CE, so the cost is hefty. You're going to be adding 12 to your pool.
Mm-hmm. Everybody keep that in mind. But it's often worth it, at least for one of them. Always consider what your frontliners are doing, what CEs they need. So let's spotlight a servant now. And if we're going to do this regularly, there's only one servant we can start with. It's Mash. While she is capped at a 3-star tier levels and stats for now, she has a 0 cost, she has a defensive arts NP, which unlike Jean does not stun her, so it's perfect for farming her NP. She makes a great tank with her skills, and so for story missions, with her level being what it is, she is regularly going to bail your ass out.
Mash is especially unique as a servant because she is basically tied directly to the story. So things like her Ascension, Noble Phantasm, and Bond levels are locked to the story. For those who are playing, you know this. The prologue basically unlocks her Noble Phantasm. Increases her Bond as well. Yeah. Then Orleans increases her Ascension, I believe.
No,
and
I think her Ascension is at the end of Septum.
Is that Septum? Then Orleans is on her Noble Phantasm again, I believe.
I think it would also be another Bond level.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters. You're going to clear the stories. That's how it is.
Yep.
Her, I do say for now, because she will eventually reach a 4-star type cap as we go through the story, and she chisels up through those ascensions. She will get some other stuff. Her skills are especially important. She can do a defense all for 3 turns on the party, just as a skill. That's handy. And then, I think it's Transient Wall of Snowflakes is her invincibility one.
Yep.
Before you start getting into more that have that power, that is an amazing skill that you can pop, which gives invincibility and NP gain to one target. It's great. Her Noble Phantasm, Lord Chaldeus, also is fairly strong. That's defense up and damage cut. It does a static damage reduction for your team when it's applied. So, we've got about 10 minutes left on the good old mission clock here. What subject do you think we should do to round this out? Do we want to actually catch up on our future predictions and desires and stuff?
Yeah. Let's do a couple of them.
All right. Well, I did mention it earlier, but Morgan Le Fay was in Apocrypha, and she has a VA now. And a new design, because she appeared once in a manga tie into something. So that's a servant that is probably coming someday. And personally, I'm just really interested in more Medusa and Mordred variants. We also mentioned the 3 Sakura 5. That's something that, even before I double-checked the data mine list, I was predicting would eventually happen. But it's very important. even though I say this as having just not rolled an Altera, Nurse Altera N possibly is an alternate class, because that gives me a different chance to roll her. But, at all. Period.
In our notes, he puts her down as a caster. I think she'd be more interesting as a nurse assassin, maybe throwing needles, full of serum. It's great. As I said, for those not in the know, Fate Stella, you can unlock alternate costumes, and Altera's alternate costume is just a full-on nurse outfit, like white cap and everything, and it's goddamn adorable.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who want more information, please go watch our Let's Talk on Fate Stella that we did. It was great.
Yep, and speaking of stuff from Extella, no Archimedes yet, though that could be definitely interesting. He's very interesting as a character, and FGO has turned around more than one villain caster. Look at Medea and Paracelsus.
Yeah, Paracelsus was actually an antagonist for I don't think regular Prototype, but Prototype Fragments. The prequel, which is basically the Fate Zero.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's turned around by the game as a positive character. So we'll see if they do that to actual Archimedes. Also, there is an extra class. We didn't get to that today, but I do think we will cover that possibly soon. But there's an extra class called Moon Cancer. Currently, only BB qualifies for that class because she's kind of a weird virus AI thing. But I think that the Corroded, or I believe in Japan the term was Void Liz, could also be a viable candidate. And who doesn't want more variations of Liz? Nobody will be happy until they can run an entire team just of Liz.
I'm still hoping for my Team Tomino. Give me my Tomino 9. Give me the rest.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. I know there are some people who are a little bit salty that Nero Fest is a regular event once again.
Yeah.
But hey, that happens.
I was like, I'm gonna hold on. With Halloween coming up next month, Tomino will finally be in the game, and you can bet your quartz that I am hoarding for that moment.
Mm-hmm. You gonna roll?
I'm gonna roll.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I know you wanted to save the Halloween talk till it was closer to Halloween, but I have to say this one bullet point. If you need further proof that Lucky is of the devil, look no further than the Halloween rate-up. Tamamo is introduced, Tamamo Cat, and Carmilla. What is this?
Yeah. As I said, probably in our next, probably next week, we'll probably get into, our preferred servants and why we think so, and we can definitely, pick apart this topic a little bit more. But we're running low on time, so we'll have to leave it.
Yeah, we're a little bit before we normally stop the clock, but I think our future predictions and desires here could possibly let us run over if we harp on it too long. So let's go ahead and stop the clock and go into a wrap-up. I'm going to assume you wrote this question for a master feedback segment, because I don't think I did.
Yep, I totally did. With me and Chris finally spending money on quartz, the topic top to me is, how much money does one have to spend before it's considered whaling? As I said, I just blew through my entire month's video game allowance on quartz, which was $40, and well, I think that's a lot of money. I also think it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. So I want to hear from you all out there, how much is too much to be spending on FGO? Let me know what you know in the comments below.
I will also preempt that by saying, I'm sure there's some people who have whales on their friend list who are like, spend as much money as you like, bro. None of us are quite that rich. Though, speaking of rich, as our episode winds down, we get ready to do our usual, spiel as the episode wraps up. I want to say a new thing. This actually went in some of our episodes that were up last week, but there is now a PayPal Me link in the description. If anybody wants to give money to us directly, there's now an avenue for it. No, I don't want to, me and Lucky, we're not in this necessarily to make it big and be YouTube millionaires. That'd be nice, but we also accept that that's a really complex prospect, so, we're not expecting you guys to start catapulting us to riches right away. But at the same time, I am constantly amazed by the generosity of what are basically internet strangers for other people. And I'm wondering if, maybe generosity might be shown to us in turn. So, if you like us, you like what we do, and you feel like throwing some money at us, feel free to do that in the link below. It's not really a huge deal if you don't, or maybe you do. I said this in another episode where I talked about this, just on my regular channel stuff. Think about us as, that guy playing a guitar on the street corner. If you throw him $1, maybe throw us $1. Think of it as a tip jar. And I am 100% honest when I say this. Any amount of giving helps. Here's a hypothetical.
Yep.
Our top-rated Let's Talk episode has over 450 views. If literally every person who viewed that video donated us a quarter, just a quarter, we'd have over $100. So I am being honest when I say any amount you want to donate helps. And Lucky,
Yep,
if those people don't want to throw us our bucks, or throw us their bucks, what are some other ways they can help us out?
Well, the easiest way is get us out there. Share with the friends. Share with friends. If you have something that you like promoting us, get us out there. The more views, the better. And then maybe they will throw us a couple bucks or even a quarter.
And even if you share directly, there's always a way you can make us appear more, is not just with your views, though those are very helpful, but also remember to give the video a like. That helps it seem more presentable and more, attractive to people. Comments are also good, and we also love comments. We got a topic from a comment today, and they're just great. Audience interaction is great, and we're ready to interact with you, our audience. And of course, if you want more videos, please subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah. And as I said, all proceeds will be going to making these productions a lot better. We can start picking up better equipment, software for editing, all that good stuff, so that this becomes a much more enjoyable and aesthetically pleasing production for all you.
Lucky, don't lie to the people. The money's all going to go to quartz. It's all quartz. Quartz all the way down.
Well, I'd say for some video software, because I have plans. I want to do some stuff with this. It's just I don't have the software for it.
And that's right.
I
We
tried
at
to
Let's
last.
Talk Fate Grand Order don't condone piracy. It is definitely not cool, and we would never, ever advise you to watch something or obtain something that is not legal. However, you also can't make money based on piracy, so we are not pirates. Please give us money for figurines and quartz.